I I love my little boys, and I wouldn't change it for the world. And I know, whatever is going on with my body right now is just temporary. Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Jamie. I usually talk about budgeting, but today I'm going to be talking to you about postpartum depression and suicidal thoughts in the hopes that it might be able to help somebody out. I will be sharing my own personal experiences and the things that I have now labeled within myself as knowing that I have PD, and also things that I feel like personally help me to rationalize my thinking, to think normally about what's going on with my body. So I'm going to be talking about some of the symptoms and some of the things that I do to help myself calm down for postpartum depression. I really am doing this just in the hopes that even if it helps somebody a little bit, that would be a huge blessing, because living with postpartum depression or any type of depression is a really dark thing. It's a dark place to be in, and I just want to, if I can in some way help alleviate some of your pain, I would love to do that today. I will be looking over at my laptop. On the left, I have some thoughts over here. I have quite a few notes and thoughts that I've just been compiling over the last few days about what I'm feeling. And so I just feel strongly that I need to make this video, and so I'm going to go ahead and talk to you guys about some of the things that I'm going through. So first, I'm going to talk about some of my symptoms of postpartum depression. The first symptom that I have is overwhelming anxiety, specifically when my children cry. So my story is that I have a 15-month-old and a 15-month-old and then a 4-month-old. I had my first baby, and I got pregnant 6 weeks later with my second baby, and that wasn't planned. It happened because my first baby, my husband and I had struggled with infertility, and we went on medication. I had a procedure done. I was on I was about to go into a fertility center when I was pregnant a few years after we started trying to have a baby. And so we assumed that I had struggled with infertility, and then we got pregnant right away, which at the time was really scary. And I know that my hormones are so off balance because of all this, but at the same time, I love my little boys, and I wouldn't change it for the world. And I know, whatever is going on with my body right now is just temporary. So, okay, so with that context, my body has just kind of been on a weird roller coaster for the last 2 years, as I've been pregnant 2 times and had 2 kids, and so that's kind of the context of where I'm coming from. Okay, so my first symptom I said is overwhelming anxiety, and it's especially when I hear my children cry. For me, something triggers in my brain, and it automatically goes into this mode of, I'm not there for them. I didn't give them what they need. I'm a bad mom. I can't provide for their needs. They're suffering, and I did something because I wasn't able to predict that, my older son needed a bottle right now, or I wasn't there for him when he smashed his finger when he was opening that drawer, or just a lot of irrational thoughts where or just a lot of irrational thinking. So that was my first symptom, and my symptom that I have the most. There are times, if both of them cry, I'll take care of their needs, but then I like sit on my bed for a good 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes just trying to get over that panic of I did something wrong, my children were crying, and it's so irrational, and I know it's irrational, but it's just something inside of me that's telling me I'm not good enough. I'm not being what they need. So that's my first symptom. My second symptom I wrote down was that feeling of inadequacy, that feeling that I tell my husband this. I say, I went to school and education so that I could be a teacher, and I was given all these tools so that I can have kids in a classroom, but nothing in my life has prepared me for this jump into motherhood and this jump into the hardest job that I've ever had. You think having kids is going to be so easy, but it is harder than any job I've ever worked at. It's so demanding. You're up in the nights, it's a 24/7 job, You wake up with your babies, you are there in the mornings, you're there to hear them cry, you're there to hear them laugh, you're there for it all. And it gets hard because even they're little, so you don't get the gratification of a boss telling you that you did a good job. Or when I was teaching, my students would leave every day and they'd say thank you. They were just the politest, most wonderful students ever. And when you do good, you know when you help somebody out, and as a teacher, you can see that you're making a difference. But with your children, my son right now, he hates having his diaper changed. And it's not like I enjoy changing his diaper, and it's a miserable process for him. It's not a fun process for me, and there's no thanks or gratification in this tedious job that you have day after day after day. So you just feel inadequate. You feel like you don't see progress. Every day you wake up, and you wake up because normally my babies are crying because they need something. So you wake up to crying, and you have to go solve a problem. Like they're hungry, or maybe in the middle of the night, maybe they had a bottle leak or a diaper that got too full. So you don't wake up having the job done. So I'm feeling inadequate. The next symptom that I have is I let small tasks overwhelm me. And I find myself often staring into space, contemplating like how I'm going to take care of something, and things that shouldn't be a big deal. Like I think about them a lot. Like, how am I ever gonna do this? How can I take care of those dishes? How can I do this when when I feel like I have all these other things to do, and it's just little tasks like become so overwhelming, and it's like things that shouldn't be hard. You don't think about them logically. It seems like such an overwhelming process to conquer that task. And for me, I also feel like I don't get enough sleep, and that causes some postpartum depression. I don't think there is a mama that maybe sleeps too much. Maybe if you have a good support system, maybe you're getting too much sleep. That can also be a symptom. For me, I don't sleep enough. Some people, when they have it, they don't eat enough. On the other hand, I eat everything in sight. It's like I'm one of those that food comforts me. And so when I'm really depressed, it's like I want to go make some brownies, and I'm going to eat the whole pan because I just crave the chocolate. I don't know. Something about being depressed, it's like the carbs call to me, the chocolate calls to me, and I want it because I want that sense of gratification, but then afterwards you feel even more horrible and miserable because it doesn't alleviate the pain, it just dulls the pain, Another symptom is heart pounding, like your, physical symptom, like my palms will be sweaty, my heart is racing, I don't feel like I'm getting enough breath. It's probably close to a panic attack, but just kind of feeling like in the state of panic often is another symptom that I have. And then the last symptom I have is sometimes when things get so bad, I have suicidal thoughts. And it's not that I fixate on suicide. It's more just like I don't know how to solve the problem, and so my immediate thought is, if I wasn't here, I wouldn't be hurting. I wouldn't be feeling this overwhelming grief over the fact that I'm inadequate and I'm not able to provide what my children need, or I'm not able to meet the needs of my house or my husband, or all of these feelings that all of this thinking that is so damaging. And for me, I don't fixate on the suicidal thoughts. It's more just like it's an escape, you know? Like, I'm so overwhelmed and I don't know what the solution is. So it's not that I feel like I want to kill myself. It's more just like if I wasn't here, my mind wouldn't be hurting me, you know? I don't know if that makes sense, but that's kind of like what I go through when I get down and depressed really hard. Like when I am so overwhelmed and I feel so scared. I feel like I don't know what I'm doing. I'm doing the wrong things. I'm not prepared for this job, for this task of having these two beautiful little boys, and I'm not good enough, you know, for the task of being their mother. And I know for some women, they feel that they don't have an attachment to their child. I don't personally feel that way. I feel more just like I love my children so much, but I'm not worthy of being their mom because I can't 100% of my time make them happy. And so those are my symptoms. Those are the personal symptoms that I have for postpartum depression. And it's a really dark place to be. But I have some things that help me through this. So now that I've talked about the symptoms of postpartum depression, I'm going to talk about some of the things that alleviate my overwhelming sense of inadequacy and also keep me being sane and normal. So when I get really, really down and I get in a dark place, I have a few things that I fall back on. One is that I know that I have postpartum depression. I know that right now the things that my body is going through, I know that this isn't me. I know that, and a big reason I know this is because I have women in my life who have had it, and I know that while they've had it, that they weren't themselves either. So I know that how I'm feeling isn't normal, and I also know, because I've seen women in my life who have had it, I also know that it ends, it gets better. So for me, just knowing that it will not always be like this, that this is just a season, it grounds me. It grounds me knowing that I will be okay and things will be okay, and I need to let the hormones pass. I need to just kind of write it out. And honestly, for me, I know, like, I'm not bad all the time. I haven't been bad for the last 5 months of my son's life. I've been on a roller coaster. Like, I've been high, I've been low, and I've tracked, for me personally, that I'm my lowest around my period, you know? And I know that's hormonal. And so knowing logically that my hormones are playing into this, it makes it so that I don't go off the edge, because I don't fall into what my mind is thinking. It's like I might have a suicidal thought, but I don't dwell in that thought, because I know that this is temporary, that this is my body learning to regulate. I've been pregnant for 2 years, you know, because my boys were so close together, and my body's just trying to figure out how to get back to normal. And so that knowledge helps me. And I just knowing this, like if you're in the situation, just know that this is just a little season. It's going to end. You're going to feel better. Just know that it's a season. That it's not going to last forever. That it's your body, it's your hormones they're regulating. You're not being yourself. So any thinking that you're doing in this point of your postpartum depression, it's not you. It's your hormones, you know. So whatever you're going through right now, you can do it, mama. You can do it. You've got this. I believe in you. You guys, it's so hard, but it's not you, you know. You're going to get better. You're going to be yourself again. Okay, so knowing the problem, that helps me. Another thing, and I'll link the story below, but there was a woman in Utah who had postpartum depression so badly that she was driving I think her dad was driving her to the hospital, and she just got out of the car on the freeway and she passed away. But I remember at the time reading the story and just thinking about, oh, that is so awful, because knowing that wasn't her, that was her postpartum depression. And her husband talked about it, and he said, the person that my wife was when she did that isn't who she is. She wasn't herself at that time. And so even though it's a tragic story, knowing that story and knowing the loss of her family and hearing her husband talk about it and just identifying that that's not who she was, that helps me, because it I don't want to do that to my family, you know? I don't want to be that woman who feels so badly about herself that she deserts her family, especially when it's not, postpartum depression isn't lasting. It's a short-term thing. And so hearing the grief of her family when she was going through this, as tragic as it is, it helps me be grounded, because I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that to my amazing husband and to my sweet little boys. And sometimes, this is another one of my points, but I think about even how bad I feel, even if I feel like I am the worst mother, I am so inadequate, I'm not doing a good job, I think about if that were to happen, if I wasn't cured, that would be so much worse for my little babies than having, you know, a bad mom. And I don't think I'm a bad mom, but even just an adequate mom that's alive, you know, I just think the trauma of knowing that your mom isn't there for you would be horrible for a little child. And so that logic also helps me not dwell on the suicidal thoughts, knowing that me, with all of my imperfections, you know, I'm better than nothing. I'm better than not being here. So just know that you're the damage that happens to your family, just knowing that as a little child would be awful if you didn't have a mama. So that's another thing that helps with postpartum depression and suicidal thoughts. When I talked to my doctor about this, early on I got an IUD that had hormones in it, and I didn't realize that I got the IUD with hormones in it. So I got really depressed, and I got it taken out right away, because it just really put me in a dark place. But the short period between me calling into the doctor and getting my IUD out, my doctor recommended that I run outside every day in the sunshine for an hour. I just detach, that it was really important for my health, that it was a priority for me to get out. And it did two things. I got the vitamin D and I got the endorphins. And so when I do that, like if you're feeling specifically down, the best thing, you know, if you're just in a moment where it's like you don't have a resource, even if you have to put your kid in a stroller and walk around the block a few times there were plenty of times where I didn't have somebody to watch the babies, and I would put them both in a stroller, and I would just take them down the street to a little park that I could walk laps on. And that helped me in those dark times. And when I came back, I could function for the rest of the day. But I had to do it every day until I had that IUD out, because I just was in such a low place, and it was like I knew that I had to get that vitamin D, and I had to get those endorphins. So if you're in a situation where you need something now, I mean, it is going to be way better for your baby if you're in a good mental place. So even if you have to strap him into the stroller and go outside to get fresh air, it's way better that they have a mama that's in a good mental place and state of mind than to stay indoors and try to make your baby more comfortable. And surprisingly, you think even though they're little babies, like at the time, that was when my son was around 2 and 3 months, and he just really enjoyed being outside, and he enjoyed the movement of the stroller. So it was soothing to him, and so it helped me at the same time too. Another task-oriented thing that helps me when I'm feeling down is bullet journaling, and I just create like a small list of tasks in my journal. It's the same thing as like a checklist, a chore list, but every day, like for the month, I'll have a list of tasks that I should do every day, and then I color in a box every time I complete a task. And as minimal as it is, just having that little reward of completing something and seeing my box colored in, and having a way just to look a mental or a physical picture, and just to have like a physical chart of my progress and feeling good about myself that I accomplished. Maybe it's like 3 goals, as small as they were, but like just going back to them. And when I would get so caught up in my thinking, just looking at my list and saying, okay, what's something physical I can do I don't have time to sit here and think. I have a goal every day this week that I'm going to do a load of laundry and fold it and put it away. And so I have to go work on that task. Or instead of, it helps you so that when you're sitting there just overwhelmed with your thinking, if you have a list, then you don't have to like spend time thinking about what you need to do or how you're going to do it. You just know that you have to get the task done. So that helps. Another thing that helps is, of course, getting out of the house. But that's really hard. Like I talked to my therapist, and that's another suggestion on here, is you talk to somebody that can understand. But I talked to my therapist, and he said, build your support system. And that's really hard to do because you don't want to burden other people. Because, for me, I don't feel like I'm worth it, for somebody to come over so that I can go shopping, clothes shopping, or go, I don't even know, what do women do by themselves? I don't know, go get like a manicure or pedicure or something. Like, for me, that just feels so selfish. But, and this is something I'm working on, is maybe letting people in and letting them know how dark I feel sometimes, and maybe getting help that way. But if you can do that, if you're in that position where you can ask for help, do it. I think if I could ask for help, it would be a huge blessing if I could just go out and have a few hours. But one thing I told my husband the other day, he said, hey, I have the day off. It was 4th of July early in the day, and he said, I have the day off, like, go shopping, go get some clothes. And it was like I needed to have that permission from him, and it was so great, like, that he offered for that, because I don't want to ask him, even though he'd do it. I just feel bad because he goes to work, and I know life is hard for everyone, and so it feels so selfish for me to ask for help. But just having somebody step in and take your kids, I don't know, if you can get a support system, take it, because it's nice if you have it. I also am on anxiety medicine, and I really think that helps. I don't even want to know what would happen to me if I wasn't on anxiety meds. So definitely look into medication as you're going through this journey of postpartum depression. Even though I still have symptoms that are sometimes easier, sometimes harder, look into medication. I'm almost done, and I have a baby crying. So I'm going to hurry and end this. I'm going to put a few talks down below in the link, some things that have helped me. And the last thing, just talking things through, even making this video is therapeutic for me. I don't know if you can hear it, but my little baby, he's screaming, so I gotta go take care of him. But stick in there, Mama, you got this. I sure believe in you, and this is temporary, it's gonna pass. So if this helps you at all, I hope it does, and my heart is with you. If you want to talk about it, feel free to comment below. Good luck, you got this. Bye.